Well, welcome back to Pinball Garage. I just thought I'd do a little video on the tools that I use for pinball repair that I've accumulated in a separate little toolbox. But this is what I have on the end there with the wooden handle. That is like an awl, and I use that for threading acorn caps to go back on the posts on the Gottlieb machines. And here's a little point set screw. You can stick your screw in the end of that, and it will hold it so you can start your screws back for difficult under the playfield screws, and 0 to 9 units in the light box works good. Got 3 select ignition wrenches, 1/4 inch, a 5/16, and a 3/8. The 1/4 inch gets used the most. That's to hold your post tight so you can unscrew your acorn cap with the 5/16 nut drive, and there's a 1/4 inch nut drive to install the posts or any other 1/4 inch little nuts you got on your steppers, etc. Just 3 slotted screwdrivers seem to do me well. A pair of wire dikes, a couple small pairs of needle nose, and a punch to remove the roll pins and any flipper linkages, and a pair of bulb scissor pliers to get those pesky match unit bulbs out of the light box. You almost got to have that to really get them. The shooter tips and those other little rubber ones I've never had much luck with. Then a hex set of little drives, and then of course my trusty little tack camera, which gets used occasionally, mostly to put the brads in the side rail guides. And then we got a couple Gottlieb Hex Drive with the extended handle. Those are actually Gottlieb tools. Steve has a few of them, the original ones from back in the day at PBR. And of course you got to have your soldering iron with some solder. That's resin core, so you don't really need any paste. And 2 extra long handled 1/8 and 3/16 inch Hex Drive handles. If you're working on any roto unit, you're going to need those to tighten your set screws on the shaft. And then we got a couple little picks that I use for springs on the relays. I haven't really had to mess with any drop target springs, but most other springs use this little set of Pittsburgh pick things from Harbor Freight work good. And then I got this large 7/8 inch wrench, to install lock sets on the back door and the coin door. The nut that you have to screw on to hold it in place is 7/8 inch. And then some little electrical tape, which I normally use on the flipper linkage on the Gottlieb games. When you start getting a little feedback from the flipper switch under the playfield, you'll start getting a little shock because the fish paper wore off. So I just put that on in place of the fish paper and trim it up. It works real well. That's basically most of the tools that I use just for repairs and maintenance that have made it into a little extra toolbox that I got right there. So I don't have to go into the big tool cabinets. And of course we got a grinder with a polishing wheel and a couple of vices and a drill press. All the big tools are out in the garage, but these are the tools that, and of course you can't forget your PBR grease, but these are the tools that have made it into just a little cheap Rubbermaid toolbox that I seem to use the most. So rarely do I have to go in the toolbox to find anything else. these tools and the soldering iron and the solder and these little picks and the long-handled hex wrench things, and of course a complete one, and just a couple old pairs of pliers and a wire cutter, and it's got a little stripper thing inside of it, a little hole you can strip the wire real good. Those are old cheap China ones. They're kind of rusting up a little bit, but that's basically it for your everyday average pinball maintenance and repair toolkit that I've accumulated. This is probably over 5 or 6 years that this stuff has made it into the little Rubbermaid box. Alright, well, that's just a quick view of the common tools that I use here at Pinball Garage.